the In This League Podcast Network.
What's up, friends? Anyone that may or may not be here. MLB Draft 2025. What's up, dudes? Just getting set up here to see whoever may or may not want to hang. Oop, just abruptly into the music there. MLB Draft first round in the books. First, second, third. I mean, we're going into the 10th round. So I am here to potentially talk about first-year player. Jag in the house. Hey, yo. Yeah, baby. What's up, Jordan? What's up, dudes? Gonna talk. I'm actually gonna work a little bit here. I'm working on my first year board as we are rocking. Sorry, I was just reading something. I am placing a lot of my first year guys on my list as we speak to get that out to you. But I'm down to talk draft. I'm down to talk what happened in the draft, the prospects, what the first year player board looks like. And we'll also just put up let me do this. I will put up the actual draft board here, and then we can follow along. Follow along with the names. Let's do the different layout, though. Oh, how do I do? There we go. There's the board there. Oh, that doesn't really work, does it? From down here. Which one's better? We'll do that for right now. We'll do that for the board as we're going there. What's up, Jordan? Yes, we can talk about the Twins here in just a second. But yeah, I'm going to hang here for as long as it's deemed necessary for whoever hangs. And we'll just talk draft this whole time. If you guys want to support, there's two great ways to support stuff and things. Number one, Patreon. If you are going to be looking for the prospect list, going to be updating that, as I said, today. The latest will be tomorrow. Got a heavy day. Going to be on Eric Cross's show later today. I'm going to be on CBS Sports HQ. So we'll try to get that out today. Otherwise, it'll be tomorrow. My top 500 prospect list update in the next 24 hours will have these draft prospects in it. As well, I will also have a first-year player board, as I always do. And that first-year player board will be broken out into kind of looks like a draft board. 15, it ranks their overall in the rounds, so you can see what players and what rounds look like. I will have that board updated for everybody. So go to inthisleague.com, sign up today. Inthisleague.com. The other great way, of course, is grab a sub on here. If you guys want me to do more Twitch stuff, grab a sub, and you can do that free with Prime. Just hook up your account. You can sub to the account, gets rid of ads. It supports, lets me know to keep doing things. Or you can just get a sub, and you can do that. You can also gift out subs. You can do all those things. So any of those, I will shout you out. Tell me if you sign up on Patreon today. I'll shout you out here. Or if you end up subbing, I will see it, and I will give you some love. So, all right, let's see what's going on with everybody. This draft is crazy. One big development, by the way. I'm going to put this up here. Let's see if I can. I feel like it's too small. Let me look at the different looks here. We'll go to this one to see that just cuts off the names. That's a dumb board. That's a stupid ass board. We're going to do this real quick then. We'll make me much smaller. You don't need me. But clearly, the big name we are not getting signed unless something is about to change here is Jack Bauer. Not 24's Jack Bauer, but Jack Bauer, the dude that was throwing a gajillion miles per hour, throws like 103, 104. Funny enough, if you guys follow the stuff I do, my dear friend Dennis Sidler, his kid and their team played Bauer and beat Bauer in like the whatever it is, high school championship tournament. They got to Bauer a little bit, but Jack Bauer was seen as like, I don't know. He seemed like a guy that was going to get a decent amount of overslot money. Big lefty, threw 101 or 102 as a 17-year-old kid. And clearly, this thing is just doing this. Clearly he's not signing. He was ranked in the top 50 of Pipeline. We are in almost round 10. I don't think anyone's going to throw $1 million at this type of like, where are we at here? Well, I say that 200,000 is the round value. Maybe someone had some deal. They saved a ton of money. Would Washington do it here at 9? I don't know. It seems to me that Mississippi State, where his commitment was, probably had a pretty good NIL number attached to him. And he probably told teams he wants X amount of money or he goes back. And it does not look like he's going to get it. And it looks like he's going to go. And I had him as like a top 50 guy, even though he was raw. If you're 17 and throwing 101, besides the obvious Tommy John surgery, there's a huge talent. I mean, big talent. And, he had a changeup. He wasn't using enough that he needed to, but this was one of the bigger, crazier fastballs out there, big projectable body, and does not look like he's getting drafted, again, unless something changes in the next 20 minutes and someone decides to say, well, the slot value is 200,000, but we've saved $1 million and we're going to give this kid. It's not unheard of. It's happened, but I just don't think it's happened at this realm. This happened last year. I don't even know how to change this. 2024, this is what the Guardians did. They gave like $1 million plus extra to Chase Mobley, but I think that was in like the 5th round, not this late. So Jack Bauer looks like the big crazy one that is not going to get signed. None of these others are crazy. Lucas Franco had actually taken his name out of the hat. Just nothing berserko here. You can see these are Pipeline's ranks. These are almost all high school guys outside of Jared Jones at LSU, but a bunch of high school guys that I assume are all going back to college, the majority of these. So I thought that was relatively crazy, and we'll keep that up there. So let's go to our boys. Jordan, thoughts on the Twins' first pick? Let's go to it. Let's pull it up. I thought the Twins have had a really good draft too. Let's go to Minnesota Twins here. So they've had a very good draft. I personally am not the biggest Merrick Houston guy. Merrick Houston out of Wake Forest, decent size, really good defender. I think the bat's a much bigger question. It was interesting. They were comping him kind of to Royce Lewis on the broadcast yesterday. Power's in question. I think overall like contact might be in question, but he's an A+ defender. There was a lot of talk about, what was it? Like Billy Carlson being the slickest of the defenders, but Merrick doesn't have some of the flashiness, but he like gets it done. You know what I mean? Like he is probably one of the smoothest of defenders, and he's college and he's closer to being ready. So, there's like a lot in benefit for him. I think it's a good pick. I thought there were some guys on the board still. Like, I'll be honest with you, I was kind of terrified the Diamondbacks were going to take Merrick Houston, and he went 2 picks before, so I was kind of happy just because I think this is more of a real life player than anything else. Riley Quick, this is a really, really good pick as well. Already through Tommy John, big bodied guy, big fastball, good changeup with the fastball. I think this works really well. But this right here, it's one of my favorite picks of the draft. Quentin Young. I would have killed for personally the D-backs to draft him. And frankly, also selfish in that I desperately wanted him to go to a team that's like out here locally in Arizona. That's what I really wanted, because I wanted to be like, let me go see him. Let me see what's up. I would have killed for him to actually be in Arizona in some capacity. So send him to the Brewers or the Dodgers or the Padres or something. He didn't. So he's going to be on the East Coast, but Quentin Young's one of my favorite players in this draft, especially for fantasy. 6'6", huge dude. listed him as a shortstop. So they're going to let him start there. Might be more of an outfielder, but Quentin Young's power is ridiculous. Quentin Young broke like all the combine records for EVs. I think it was like 113s. Like he was just going ballistic. Like they had this board of like, here's the top 5 hard hit balls. And then when Quentin Young was done, that like all belonged to him. So he's just crazy, crazy raw power. We're going to do the cheap comp sometimes where it's like, he physically kind of looks like James Wood now. Not even just the dread things. When James Wood came out, he was a lot bulkier, kind of a word where his body would go. Quentin Young is not that. 6'6", 225. I freaking love him. I think he is dream on it fantasy type of stuff. He's the type of guy that could be like a number 1 fantasy pick. So that's like one of my absolute favorites. So I know you just asked me about Merrick, but I think overall, this is a really solid draft. I freaking love Quentin Young. Merrick Houston's a better defender, so they'll give Quentin a shot, but he will probably go to the outfield. But Quentin Young's amazing. And Quentin Young, let's look at my first year board here. I have Quentin Young at the top-ish of the second round. So once we get to see these guys more, maybe feelings will kind of push. He's got some swing and miss in his game, which makes him a little bit riskier when you're comparing him to guys like Daniel Pierce and Steele Hall for fantasy. But I think like in a 15 team, if I have like a high second round pick, like I love pairing Quentin Young with something else. I really, really do. So I have him at 21 in my first year player ranks. So that's that. It's a good question. Tired of them losing. Well, that's some good picks. I mean, Merrick can protect them from some of the shortstop issues they've had. Quentin Young, this is just a really good start. There's a couple teams that had some absolutely insane starts to the draft. I'll tell you, let's go to just number one. Number one early team is right here. Absolutely bonkers draft I think that they've had is the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Orioles started off, I did CBS last night and we were doing winners and losers. And I was like, how do you not look at the Baltimore Orioles as the biggest winner? They got in the top 37, they got 4 players that at some point or the other were all mocked inside the top 25. So those are all first round talent they got in 4 picks. All positional players, crazy. Ike Irish, listed as a catcher, can play the outfield, will play the outfield, I think, because you got Kate. Yeah, I mean, you got Adley, but you also got Bodine, who they took next. Bodine, who's mocked to the Diamondbacks, incredibly good catcher, good framer, makes tons of contact. I think he's the better bet because Irish has played in the outfield. Irish has got some really good raw pop. I think he's going to be a 25-plus homer guy, pretty good average. Then they got Wave Aloy. His first name kills me, but Aloy, Golden Spikes winner, huge power, question marks. He reminds me of like a college version of what we saw Arjun Namala with, where Arjun Namala had all this like big, crazy power, but there were questions about his hit tool. And that's a little bit of a negative because this is a college version. So he's got to keep improving, but he's got crazy, crazy raw power. I would not have hated if the Diamondbacks would have taken him with their second round pick. So I love Aloy. And then Slater DeBrun, who is, a lot of people comped him to Corbin Carroll. He reminds me of Slade Ciccone. He has that kind of like low or Slade Caldwell, not Ciccone. And they have that right here. 5'9", has that lower kind of explosion, more of a probably doubles hitter, really fast, great hitter. Again, this is a guy that was mocked to the Diamondbacks a ton. These 4 picks, insane. These are all well, not Bodine. Bodine I have much lower, but I have Ike Irish, I have Aloy, and I have Brun, I think all in my top 30 first-year players. So I thought they killed it. Also, coming down here, RJ Austin from Vanderbilt is a dude in the 3rd round, just another like really good athlete. We'll have to see where the offensive numbers end up going. I think he has more power than that 10 to 12 per year. But I thought that was a really good pick. Just they murdered it, man. So that was probably my favorite. I think there's a couple other really good pairings, but like what they were able to do is insane. And and then they paired it here with like a couple college pitchers that are going to help, get like Slater DeBrun signed up, and there's a lot of money that's attached to these guys. So I thought that was a absolutely ridiculous draft. So feel free, if you guys have any questions about my take on any of them, if you want to talk about first year player, I will hang here as long as you guys want to do it. I could hang 2. I might just hang 1 if there's not a lot going on, but feel free to drop it, say hello, do whatever if we're talking MLB draft. And then I will also probably continue working on this list that I get posted out. Let me read this note, though, that just came in. Looks like we had... Okay. Barrow, what's up? What did the Cards draft? Let's take a look at the Cardinals. Cardinals got Liam Doyle, which is good. All right. Oh, yeah, and they got one of my other favorites. So I think they probably felt they were gifted Liam Doyle here. Liam Doyle, the thought was the draft was going to go Cade Anderson, Liam Doyle, Seth Hernandez, Ethan Holiday. That was locked. And there was a time where there was a lot of mocks where Eli Willits, who at 1 overall, was going to the Cardinals. But they were gifted, or however you want to look at it, with Liam Doyle. Liam Doyle, probably best fastball in the class. Number 1 on the fastball ring here. He's got a splitter, which I think is going to play really well. I love that 2-pitch combo. We'll have to see, the fastball, splitter, slider is just like a great 3 pairing. I wonder if maybe some teams didn't think, specifically the Angels, because the Angels want guys that are up really soon. Maybe the Angels didn't feel that he was 100% major league ready. Maybe there's some things to fix, but it's an absolutely just freaking explosive fastball. So this is a guy that could be in the bullpen, but is going to be a starter because of how high he was drafted. So I've kind of gone back and forth in fantasy between, how highly valued should he be? Maybe he's the number 1 pitcher because of that fastball, but I'm not 100%. I'm going back and forth. Cade Anderson in his spot is kind of hard to ignore with the Mariners, but I think Liam Doyle is right there. But I love Ryan Mitchell. This is one of those guys that I had kind of high too. I love the full pedigree. The dude doesn't strike out a ton. Will take walks, really good eye. I think he's going to develop solid power. I think this could be a potential 5-tool guy. So I'd seen mocks of him being in the first round compensatory. I think there's just a lot of upside. Interesting is I think he was like an infielder and they list him as an outfielder. So they're just making that commitment that he's there. But just dude barrels up the ball like crazy. So I'm super excited about that. I saw some good stuff on Tanner Franklin too. Tanner Franklin has got some pretty big explosive stuff, some high rated stuff. And I would imagine, I mean, it's always tough to say, like, I'm trying to say, like, will he be a starter or a closer? Like, maybe he's going to end up being a closer. Maybe this is a guy that moves further up in the system. I mean, you take these two Tennessee guys, Doyle and Franklin, these two guys could be up like next year to help this team. So I like what they did. I definitely like what they did. Shark Raider in the house. All right, let's keep going. Oh, it's Alan G. How do you feel about the A's draft? A's took another one of my, it's funny. You guys are picking these teams that they had these like late players that I really, really liked. Let's go to it. What are they under? Athletics. So Jamie Arnold, good. Huge spin rates. Interesting question was put out about him on like against right-handers. He was throwing a lot of sliders in on right-handers. And is that going to work? You know, because he's a primary slider fastball guy. So, like, there might be some change. You know, he's got this changeup he needs to work on more. So, can the A's develop that? That's a great pick. Some people, he was a potential number one guy. But right here, Devin Taylor. This is one of those dudes I have much higher in my first-year player than, like, where he went. Just incredibly great bat. Kind of reminds me from, like, an approach angle of Tamar Johnson, but just does a little bit of everything. There's power, there's speed. He makes really good contact. Like, I just thought, I don't know, people were just like bored with him or something. I don't know what it was, but Devin Taylor is just a great college bat. There's a plus hitter, maybe defensively. There isn't like a ton of love, but that's why you get graded lower sometimes. But offensively, his bat plays. So I think this is huge, and he's going to play really well there. So that's like my favorite. I'll say Gavin Turley is really good too. I talked to Bazana, and Bazana was talking up him. So great raw power, questionable, maybe like overall contact, you know, where that's going to go, but there's pure raw power. I mean, but if you're in Sacramento, I mean, I guess he's probably not going to play when they're in Sacramento, but these two college bats could maybe move. I do think it's weird that they got like, you know, they moved Soderstrom to the outfield. You've got Denzel Clark. You've got Butler, you've brought up Colby Thomas, you have Henry Bolt, and then you took two college outfielders again. So you wonder, you know, you don't draft for need, but it's like, what are they doing? Like, are you going to move anybody, or is this just pure talent plays? Just a lot of outfielders, but Taylor's one of my favorites. Where do I have Taylor? I think I have Taylor in my first year. I have Taylor in my first-year player right next to Quentin Young. So that tells you I have him as a top 25 draft pick for fantasy. So I really like him. Any early thoughts on where these high school shortstops will slot into your overall prospect ranks? Yeah, I mean, I've got, let's see. I mean, I guess it depends what you're asking. Like, I'm high on Holiday. I'm probably not the highest on Willits, but I'm still high. And I like JoJo Parker. I think that that's kind of a tier. Then there's a tier of their own. It's called the Kasem Cunningham tier, who, God, Diamondbacks taking him, I'm so excited about. I think he's the type of guy that could skyrocket up. I personally put Steele Hall, Daniel Pierce, Billy Carlson. That's the order that I have them. And I know Billy Carlson was drafted like 10. I'm not in love with any of those guys, but I think there's some good potential. I think those are mid-teens guys. So I think of the young shortstops, Holiday, Willits, Parker, Cunningham, of the high school guys, I'll also throw Kevin Keyline is in there. Those are first-round picks. Second round is where I put Hall, Pierce, Carlson, Quentin Young, a couple of the college shortstops. That's how I'm currently ranking them. We'll see once they get out here. Coy James is this year's JD Dix. Yeah, I saw a lot of love, Vinny, for, wasn't it the Nationals that just took Coy James? Yeah, right there. 6 foot, 185. I mean, doesn't have the projectability of JD Dix here, but I know there was a lot of excitement about this pick. This is going to be likely where they're spending their money. So I was kind of critical because I didn't love I just didn't love what the Nationals did. Like they saved money to get Eli Willits, and I didn't really feel they were spending it anywhere. I mean, Petrie's a college bat. I don't know. Maybe you're going to get him under slot. And then what's the plan? Is it going to take, let's say Eli Willits, the pick value is 11. Let's say they get him at 10. And then Petrie, let's say they save 1.5, just for an example. Are they going to need to put all that on James, or are they going to split that between Simi and James? I'm not 100% sure. These are solid picks. Miguel Semi Jr. is really interesting. Coy James is solid. I don't know if I loved every bit of it. And Philly 7th rounder Matthew Fisher, monster, saw multiple times. Many teams have first round grades on him. Nice. Yeah, Vinny's out in the streets, man. Out in the draft streets. There's going to be some incredible value. I mean, you look back, with what the Diamondbacks have done and hitting some of their later draft picks. JD Dix is a real. It looks like a really solid prospect. So 100%. Remember when the Johnsons fought the thing? But there's going to be some really, really great values on some of these, and hopefully, I'm going to get to see a bunch. Going over to the Diamondbacks, I haven't loved what they've done after, but it looks like I think a lot of their money is going to be spent on, they're going to have to. I think they're going to have to overslot Cunningham a tiny bit. You got a couple college pitchers, Dean Livingston. That's a really interesting one. Good projectable frame, big fastball. Maybe it takes a little bit more for Livingston. Nathan Hall's another interesting one. But kind of getting back into that college ring, just college. So their big exciting thing was on Kason Cunningham, but we know who it won't be. Vinny, did you see Bauer? Why is this not pulling up here? So I was talking about at the very top when you weren't here that Bauer is clearly just not signing. So we're not going to see Jack Bauer sign. He's an Illinois kid. I think Vinny's an Illinois guy. Got beat up by the Sidlers. And it just does not look like he's going to sign. Sorry, reading something. Okay. Let's get back. Yeah, I saw Bauer and Essenberg. Bauer and Appenzeller want big money. Yeah, I mean, that's what I figured Bauer was probably going to want. If we go to first round, I think he was going to I would have to imagine it's the $2 million, possibly $3 million because of NIL money for Mississippi State. So, what's compensatory round? $3 million, maybe second round money. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know what the dollars are, but you felt like this, the $2 million range is what you would want, or if you fell to the fifth, cutting a deal, but clearly it just doesn't look like he's cutting a deal. So just still some interesting names. That's one. Yeah. So Jaden Foskey is one of, I love him. I've got him higher in my ranks. I think I have him just outside my top 30 right now. Yeah, but I have him in the 30s. He's in the 30s of my first year player. He's a catcher who's going to play outfield. He is like a prototypical physical body. I really, really like him. Bat, I think is going to fly. Doesn't run a bunch, but I'm really excited about him. I feel like that could go the George Wolko way, because I'm going to see him in the Bridge League. So by far my favorite player I've seen this year. Yeah, I'm very excited to watch him in the Bridge League, but I'm already on him. He's a note. I've got, some of these players, if I would just say the my guys going through, and I guess it's dependent on where people have them, but I think Cunningham is going through. Quentin Young, I like Devin Taylor a lot. Ryan Mitchell, Foskey. Those would be 5 that I think I might be higher on than a lot of people are. So I'm definitely locked in to them. But I also think there's just still a lot of potential like volatility in that market of first year player. I'm going to do Eric Cross's show tonight. And then I think on Wednesday, I'm doing like a draft with James and Clegg and Cross, where we'll be drafting these guys. And I think we're going to be all over the board, because I also think in these early times, it's really difficult. I mean, it becomes need. Like, we don't know where any of these guys are at. Like, say, take Jace Laviolette. His power is stupid, but there's some big hitting questions in there. I think people might let him fall. If he hits early on, he's going to fly up boards, or he could disappear. Same thing goes with a lot of these high school guys. I think some people might just take some shots and say, we're in, we're going. But I think there's a lot still to be seen, because I think this draft also told us that the college class was so bad, or the college hitting class was so not good, that everyone wanted to play the upside on shortstops. And just because like a Billy Carlson went 10 doesn't mean he's going to be a top 10 fantasy option, or vice versa. Even though that we see amazing skill sets into Eli Willits or Kason Cunningham, doesn't mean they're going to instantly go to top 5 when you compare them against Kate Anderson. If you want pitching, you got 3 like really solid pitchers. Like, think of the conversation around Chase Burns and Hagen Smith last year, and how everybody kept letting them fall. I think I might have taken both of them in that draft I did with those guys last year. And now look at them. Chase Burns, Hagen, and especially Chase Burns specifically, are at the top. So you've got Kate Anderson. You've got, if you want to throw Brimner in there, but you've got Doyle. And then you got Seth Hernandez. Like, there's like some solid floor in some of those pitchers, with a bunch of hitters that I don't think the floor exists. So that's why I think there's going to be volatility. So I'm not going to pick on anyone if they're like, I got Kason Cunningham at 2 overall, or I got Eli Willits at 1, or I like Gavin Fiends at 4, whatever. Like, that's, I think people are going to go all over the board until we start to get some stuff. I will get to see, who will I get to see? I'm going to get to see some dudes. Let me look at the first round again. I will get to see personally, likely, I might get to see some Kate Anderson just chilling, hanging out here. I should see Ethan Holiday in the Bridge League. I should see Steele Hall. I should see Billy Carlson. I should see Fiend. The college guys is kind of tough. I bet I don't see Keyline. I should see Kason Cunningham. I don't know if I'll see Fisher, if he'll be here long enough. Gamble, I should see. Schoolcraft, I should see. Maybe LaViolette. Like, those are all guys that I could see out here, and I can hopefully throw some info out to some people on how they're looking. I think I have 5 picks locked on my first year player. They're in good landing spots. Like your top 5, you mean? This draft a lot of later round pops. Yeah, I agree with that. I think this draft is definitely going to be a lot more full of later stuff for everybody, for sure. Like, I don't need high-end picks in this draft, especially right now. If I can get a couple later picks and I can pick up JoJo Parker, or I can pick up Kason Cunningham, and I can pair them with, whatever the flavor is. I mean, I don't know how the pitchers are going to rank out to people. I have Cade, Seth, and Liam Doyle high. I might have Brimner lower than other people. Jamie Arnold, I might have a little bit lower. And then there's kind of a drop. I mean, yeah, it's super. I don't know. The teens to 20 rounds. Like, if I could have just a lot of picks in there, that's probably what I would want. So, PJ, how'd you like my conspiracy theory tweet? I tagged you. Yeah. What was of all the teams? I don't think your conspiracy was this. Hey, I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but it seems a bit fishy these top prospects are, quote, falling to the Athletics in this draft, and that they could all be ready around the time they debut in Las Vegas. Nah, I don't think. I mean, I like what you're saying. The conspiracy wouldn't be for the A's. And what would be a better conspiracy would be like right when they're about to go, if they won the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Like they won the, they were to win the number 1 overall pick. They do it different where other teams can't get it, but they were to get a high pick, or better yet, players fall there. Jamie Arnold is going to be up like next year, Devin Taylor. So there, I would say a bigger conspiracy would be the Orioles. How in God's name did they get all 4 of those guys? That was gold. So honestly, the golden range is like 7 through 11. Yeah, I would agree. I think that's a really good spot. So that's me. I would value, even though like totally open to Eli Willits just being like a dude. It could happen. And hat tip to Clegg. Clegg had him at number 1 in his draft ranks. So he had him as number 1 in his overall draft ranks when we did our show a couple days ago. He ends up going 1. But it's like, I still think there's some stuff. I still think that, like the volatility in there is crazy. I would love to have it Eli Willits. I'd love to have a Cade Anderson and stuff, Ethan Holiday. But if one of those guys allowed me to get 2 or 3 of like Nayans or Fiend or Kasem Cunningham, like all day, dude, all day. Super happy with what Bendix did. Your take with who? Run that by me again. Hold on, I got to read this. Yeah. And then sorry, 1 second. Okay. Oh yeah, Marlins. I love Ava Arquette. Let's look at the Marlins real quick. There was another pick I thought I loved. Oh yeah. Look at this. I was talking actually with Joe. This is trippy. Look at the college like force they put on here. Ava Arquette, absolutely banger of a pick. 6'5", 220. Vinny might or maybe dislike this. Like a Colson Montgomery but I think with a better hit tool. Good power. Maybe I don't know where the speed will go, but like I think he's just like a number 3 hitter in there. I love Ava Arquette. Cam Canarella they had a wild Jackson Merrill comp on there. He's a total gamer, big speed. If he becomes a 15-30 guy, maybe he's like a Jaron Duran. There's a definite possibility. I think there's a lot of upside with him. But Brandon Compton, Homer here because of ASU. But Brandon Compton put on an absolute clinic during the MLB Draft Combine with just the biggest, most ridiculous EVs from a college hitter. Just absolutely insane what he's doing. Big pull side hitter, kind of inconsistent contact, but like these all look like guys like they need it soon. They want that soon. And Kyle Stowers has really worked out. I love these picks. They took a couple Florida State pitchers. This is the most heavy college I feel like I've seen this team do in a long time. Looking at, they haven't taken a single high school player either. They are building for like a near term future. So I actually really dig that. Where do you have Brady Ebel? I don't have Ebel super high right now. I have him. I've got him on the cusp. I've got him near Foskey on that 30 to 40-ish range. I might be wrong, and I think he might be a player that has to grow on me. Nothing stands out. I think he's solid. He played on one of the best high school teams, like maybe of all time. I think he's like a solid dude, but I'm not there's not a carrying tool right now for me. And maybe that's going to be contact, but it's like Does he run? Does he hit for good power? I don't know. You can tell me if I'm off any, if you have him higher, but I've got him a little bit lower. Like I would prefer like Ryan Mitchell to him, Slater DeBrun, high school guys, Dax Kilby. I like, but you know, he might just come out and just bang. So that's where I've currently got him. Working on this list, let me give you guys some insight here. I got to move the rest of these guys. In the top 100, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 players from this draft inside the top 100. Once I relook, I do see like the potential to maybe move 1 or 2 inside, but right now it's about 10 guys. I do not have any of them inside the top 25 though, a first year player. So that's how my ranks are kind of leveling out. I do have some guys in similar ranges. You know, sometimes I'll have like little pairings, like Ethan Conrad and Slater DeBrun. I've got close. I've got Houston and Eloy next to each other. Steele Hall and Pierce. Like it's almost like little tiny groupings. So we'll have to see. I've heard the latter from everyone that he's a top 10 shortstop in the class to a mid day 2 talent. So I'm torn at the moment. Yeah, I'm torn as well. I'd like to see some. Where did he go? I'm forgetting. Oops, that's school. Oh yeah, I will get to see him. So Brady Ebel, I will get to see. So let's look at Ebel. Yeah, I mean, consistent barrels, but like, you know, right here, you got the concerns about the bat speed, overall impact. It's a good body, but like, you know, is it built for massive impact? And I also think, you said shortstop, but like I think a lot of people assume he's going to go to third base. So does he have the power as a carrying tool for third base as well? So I'll get to see him hopefully in the Bridge League. So that'll be another one of those guys that you guys know me, or maybe you do. I'm fine with turning the page on a player if I've seen enough and I feel enough. I have no issues turning the page on a guy, but I don't have him tremendously high right now. And I also think a lot of, especially if anyone is going to like, you know, go and be like, Billy Carlson's like a top 2 pick. I think you're kind of going out on a limb on a lot of this stuff, because I don't know if a lot of these guys jump off the page. Like to me, Holiday and Willits jumped off the page. Everybody else is kind of dicey, you know, like JoJo Parker's a good combination of tools, but what did everybody say? Like, you know, they're good, they're not incredible. And it's like Nayans has got a lot of power potential. Kason Cunningham, you know, he has huge max EVs. Will he tap into it? Hall and Pierce, and, you know, Carlson's a defender. Like these are good, but I think we get stuck in the comparisons of the past, knowing that maybe these guys are all a tick down and we need to see a little bit more before going crazy. While at the same time, though, the college class kind of sucks. It kind of blows. So it's like, if you want to take the shot, I'm very comfortable with it. But I find it hard when you get into those middle-ish rounds where it's like, okay, let's just for argument, I know you're not making this case. Let's for argument's sake, like you want to make a case for Brady Ebel and you want to be like, all right, he's got to be higher. And it's like, okay, but is he better? You think he's already better than Slater DeBrun? Do you think he's better bet than going with Golden Spikes winner Eloy, Andrew Fisher? You know, so like that's where it gets kind of tough. 2 months from now, when he's on his Braylon run, we will know. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, you know, the other thing I'll have to do is I'll have to take a look at some of these teams that are out here to like, who do I pinpoint? You know, so like the White Sox, I would get Billy Carlson and Foskey will for sure. And so what you have to do, the math here is high school guys are going to hang out in the Bridge League. They're going to chill. College guys might for a tiny bit and then they'll leave. So if we look here, let's see. Okay. Landon Hodge, Foskey, and Carlson for the White Sox will be out here. That's a pretty good club. You know, the Cubs, they already kind of weren't. They're not going to be great. All right. Reds, Steele Hall, Aaron Watson, Eli Pitts. It's a couple decent names that are going to be out here. Reds will be a good target. Guardians, Probably not. You know, there's not a lot of high school here, so Guardians aren't going to be a great team to look at. The Rockies, Ethan Holiday alone makes them. I don't even care what the rest is. Like looking at Ethan, but a lot of these other guys, these are like college-based guys. Royals, this will be a good one because they got Sean Gamble, they've got Josh Hammond, you got Millar. Pitchers sometimes will hang out longer, so Michael Lombardi. So they're going to be a good team to target. Let's just finish this up. Angels, no. Dodgers, no. Cam Leiter, if he's hanging around, that'll be fun. But a lot of college guys. Brewers, we're going to have Ebel. We won't have, oh man, Fisher would be great. Brewers, probably not. I mean, Ebel will be fun. Padres, Schoolcraft will hang around, but this is underwhelming. Giants, nope. All college. Mariners, I imagine Cade will hang around here, and then you'd also have Nick Becker, so this is going to definitely be a target. Just innings, they probably won't. Rangers with Fiend and Josh Owens, definitely going to be a target, and then that's it. So, you know, those will be some of the teams that I'm going to be like heavily targeted during the Bridge League, which is an instructional meets complex league that none of you will get stats for, which kind of sucks. Kind of sucks when that happens. By the way, I got amazing tickets right behind home plate for the Futures game. Whoa, really? Was chatting up a D-back scout. He said Lombard was way ahead of the rest of the field in that game. Yeah, Lombard he's a freak, man. How did you get those tickets? I was almost in Atlanta. Almost, but MLB, they had too many people and they couldn't approve my credentials, so I didn't fly out. I mean, I guess if I could have sat with you, PJ, maybe I would have come and hung out there. Let me read this thing real quick. Okay. Oh, so many notes. It's a busy day. Let me respond to this. Yeah, dude. Let's do it. I think either time works. But hold on one second. Let's do it. Should be all right. Help if I had some music going below, right? I got, like I said, I was talking with Joe about this, that it's funny. I don't feel like a niche person in what I do because I do football and I do baseball and I do so much in the fantasy scape, but like, you know, the prospecting is like a little bit lower for a lot of other people. So that becomes my niche. So when there's something prospecting out there, I forget like, oh yeah, as I get hit up a lot when I might not hear from anybody, because people be surprised. I'm always down to do guest appearances and stuff. I just don't hear a ton. But like this week, it's like 4 different things in the next 2 or 3 days, just one just now. So I've got 4 different networks I will be on in the next 3 days. And I just forget that I'm going to get hit up because, you know, the niche stuff. And Fantasy Pros tomorrow will be fun. PCP and I are going to do a draft breakdown. So we're going to do like me and him talking about like the draft itself and what happened in the first round. And then we'll go over and you'll physically see my top 15 player board on there. But reminder to latest tomorrow, unless I can get it done today, I will have the Dynasty 400 update and the top 500 prospects with the draft players in the top 500, and then a separate board for the first year player for you to take a look at. And I should have, I'd imagine, at least 60 deep, which is, again, I do my ranks in like rounds. So like here, I'll let you look at the first round. This is the early first look. Whoops, that's not even what I meant to do. Share screen. So this is the look of the of the first right there, of the first fit. So this is how it looks so it's overall pick, round, name, team, position. This is what my top end looks like right now as I'm doing this bad boy. And then I will have, 60 overall. And so the pick represents the pick in the round. This is the round, and this is the overall rank. So maybe you don't care about this extra stuff. This is the only thing you care about. This is the overall rank. These are the players. And then I should have at least 60 deep in that update. And that will also include the, like I said, the first year player in the ranks, the dynasty, all that fun stuff I should have going down. So if you guys want, go to inthisleague.com on Patreon. That's how you sign up, inthisleague.com, where I will be posting that bad boy and all of its future updates, because as I mentioned with Vinny, when I'm out at the complex, I'm going to get maybe different insights than some other people's, because I'm going to be able to see some of these Bridge League games. Barrow, do you like the Diamondbacks draft? I really like Kason Cunningham. That's what I really like. Do I like the other stuff they did? I'm indifferent about it. It's fine. I love this though. Check this out. I believe, isn't Brady Counsell? I believe the Diamondbacks just took Craig Counsell's son, which is actually super cool in the 10th round. That's actually super fun. But it's Kason Cunningham I freaking love. And I love this guy before he was a Diamondback. So this is similar to the Slade Caldwell thing, where I was just in on him before. I got to see him during the Dream Series that was out here in Arizona. And he's stocky. He's weird listing, 5'10", 180, might be 5'9", but he might be like closing in on $190, 200. He's just built out. It's kind of Jose Ramirez-esque. Really good left-handed bat. I think some of the best bat speed out there. He also registered just some crazy max EVs. He told this story that when he worked out with the Diamondbacks in June, he worked off a simulator and he asked to go against Paul Skeens, and he put up like a 114 against Paul Skeens. So that's crazy against the simulator, Paul Skeens. And also, I think there were some registered 116. So here's what I love. People question his power, but he's got a great hit tool, insanely good bat speed, and I think that's going to fly. Plus, he can run. I think Kason Cunningham has a chance to be a top 5 first-year player guy. So I'm absolutely in love that the Diamondbacks didn't screw around and they got their guy. I love this. The rest, I like Patrick Forbes. I had him on my list. Is this a starter? Yeah. Could this go relief? It's a possibility. It's a pretty solid fastball, decent slider, changeup. I mean, he's got the stuff if the cutter develops. Like, I think he's got a chance to be a decent starter. Curley looks like a reliever, so that's fine. I don't have much on Livingston, Nate Hall. Like, these are all just what ifs. I'm going to have to see. Brady Counsell, though, does jump out to me that I think is interesting. So, hey, Welsh, not sure if this has been asked, but which players do you see being up sooner rather than later? So that's always a good question. Here are the players that I think are up the soonest. You have to look at Tyler Bremner because the Angels took him. I think they took him there because they felt he was maybe more ready than Cade Anderson. That has to be it. And he's, he's got a great slider, a great changeup. I mean, he's a fastball changeup guy. So with a solid slider that I think I think this is the guy. I think this is the guy that's up first. I think Cade. So I'm going to give you just a grouping. Here are the guys that are up first. Bremner, Anderson, maybe Arquette, Jamie Arnold, and I think that's it. I think that's the first grouping. Like Levi, like Wood could be, but I think he fell because of his injury stuff. So I'm going to say not Wood, not Fisher, and not, where the hell is he? Kyson Witherspoon. I'm going to say it is Bremner, Bremner, Doyle, Anderson, and Arquette. Those would be the top 4. And if the Marlins really want to win soon, maybe we see Arquette break camp next year. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but Maybe. I think he's still a little bit too raw. I think the pitchers are there first. I would put money. Man, I put money that it's Brimner just because it's the Angels. Like Cade Anderson, there's a little bit of a block right now. Now, here's the thing with Cade Anderson, though. If the Mariners were to move on from Luis Castillo, you got a rotation spot open, and Cade Anderson could be that guy. So I just don't know where they would be with innings on him. That's where that could work. And then I just don't know if the Cardinals press Liam Doyle because they've got a bunch of guys that are close, like Jacob Roby and Cooper Jerpy and McGreevy. Like, I just don't think they would push Doyle, to be honest with you. So I think it is Brimner and Anderson that are staring you in the face. And then maybe we don't see position players move, but we do. We have this year. This could be the one. It seems like there's a spot for Arquette to move up, especially if he has a kind of good run. If Arquette can play third, he'll move up quickly. Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you, I know I told this story, but freaking sitting there talking with Bazana the other day, his excitement around Arquette, like it was a trip. He was like, yeah, he's the dude. He's an absolute dude, prototypical body, smart guy, nice guy, great guy. Huge for Oregon State as a program. He's going to play really well. He's everything you want. It's a really good bat. Like obviously he's going to talk him up, but at the same time, he didn't play with him. Arquette was a transfer, so he didn't need to be. So the way he talked about Arquette, I thought was crazy, crazy wild. So good questions. Reminder, if you guys got hit with it, Amazon Prime, as it says below, you guys can get a sub. It doesn't cost you anything. If you have an Amazon Prime account, connect it, do the sub thing, and then bing, bang, boom, or you can pick them up. Subs are good ways for me to keep streaming on Twitch. Shows me you guys want me to do it on Twitch, and you can get rid of those horrific ads. So there's a little bit of a benefit there as well. So go and check that out. I will shout you guys out when you do. So make sure you also follow the Twitch stream. And also, if you guys have not, the YouTube is important. Trying to get that thing over 1,000 so I can do some more stuff there. So go and follow the youtube.com/inthisleague. Just ways to support if y'all want to do that. What else? You guys got anything else on this bad boy? I'm going to do a prospect one here soon. If we had a lot more interaction, a lot more people, I might have actually moved this and turned this into an episode of answering questions, but we've been a little bit lower on it. So I'm going to do a prospect one episode this week, but here to hang if you got any more draft-based questions. I had so many people asking in the live streams on Fantasy Pros about Brimner. We can talk about the first-year player. Like I said, I feel pretty strong about my top 30. I am into the 60s as far as my ranks go. I want to take a look at a few more of these bad boys. I want to kind of keep up on, some of the picks that I might have missed. Cause there's plenty of guys that like, you just might not be attuned to, like here's a good one, like Nick Becker. That wasn't one I was super locked into. And the more that I look into, trying to pull it up here. You guys can see it, right? Yeah. The more that I've kind of locked in, like, I think he's pretty dang interesting. And he's a guy that I'm going to get to see, like, good projectable, 6'4", 190. If you're talking about like really, really good bat to ball skills with potential average power, that if, that body grows out, it can go higher. That's kind of exciting. So I thought that was like a really good pick that just wasn't like a big, like a big radar guy. Do you agree with the comps of Witherspoon looking like former Jays pitcher Juan Guzman? Ooh, let's look at Juan. I don't have Juan Guzman in my head. I would imagine that what that's going to be about is going to be about. Oh, and wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking, because remember, there are two Witherspoons. There's Kaison and Malachi. So I'm assuming you're talking about Kaison when you say that. Let's type this in. Juan Guzman. And the reason I'm saying all this is because Witherspoon has got a kind of unique, like, short extension. I can't find anything on here. Well, all I'll say is, like, Witherspoon, he's got that short extension, which kind of maybe throws some people off because it's like a short like throw. He doesn't get out deep, but he's got like 4 really good pitches. So maybe if that's where it's coming from. Yeah, you're talking about Kaison. I can't find any. I don't have the envision of that in here, but I would imagine it's that non-extension delivery that he's got. But it's like 4 high-graded pitches. Like, I worry about his command a little bit, but they might be able to do some wonders with him. He's pretty crazy. Not a draft question, but what are your thoughts on Dylan Fiend? Let's pull up Dylan Fiend. Oh, yeah, the catcher. God, my brain just completely fried there. Yeah, I saw Dylan Fiend the other day. Gavin's brother plays with the A's, or not the other day. It was like a month ago. It was the day before he got called up to high A. Pretty good projectable body. I don't think the hit tool is like quite there, even though he's hitting 300. But, I mean, an ACL, or he's hit 300 in ACL. I guess he's a total this season of 10 extra base hits on a 282 average. I think he looks, it's fine. It's not like someone I'm making a big bet on. It's completely fine. By the way, shout out to our boy Barrow. Barrow hooking up the gifted sub as Barrow does, gifting it out to Sean. Thank you very much. Awesome support. Thank you, brother. You're the man. Guzman used to have command issues too until he just threw the ball over the plate all the time. Yeah, and then that's a little bit of the knock on Witherspoon. It's like really great stuff, but is he going to stay consistent? You know, we're in a world of like, if you have abnormally high extension, you're going to get like, someone's going to pinpoint you and talk about you like, hey, this is exciting. He's kind of on the opposite end, but his stuff is just really good. So it's a good pick. I think they also drafted, didn't they draft that LSU kid? Anson? Yeah, this is pretty good right here. Witherspoon, Marcus Phillips, and Anson. This is a good college draft that they have kind of locked into. 3 really good pitchers that can help in the very near future, which is what they should have done. Because look at the mess they're dealing with right now. Like, though they've got an incredible stable of like Peyton Tolley and Early. I mean, they got like some really Juan Valera, Brandon Clark. They've got some really great pitchers. It's just these are all guys that they're gonna come at the same time. They're gonna have like 7 to 10 pitchers that are all like within a year and a half away that they can either bring up or they can have for trade assets. Like, they're sneaky, man. Red Sox are super sneaky. Our boy Bauer still undrafted. I don't have the game up or the thing up. Yeah, so it looks like we can make that official that Bauer is not going to go in this draft whatsoever. Where are we in? We're in the 10th round. See if any names jump out. If you look at Pipeline, Maximus Martin, he was 223. Jake McCutcheon, and yeah, nothing crazy. This is where the values, I mean, you're going to find some values, not a lot of crazy overslot stuff here, but still some interesting names out there. I got to confirm. I think that was, by the way, I love if they did it. Brady Counsell. I'm almost 100% positive this is Craig Counsell's kid. How many Counsells are out there? Is this right? That's a big boy too. Brady Counsell. Because I know there's a count. I mean, it has to be. Like, I'm being silly, not thinking it is right now. Yeah. Minnesota activated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he is this. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. But kind of a big kid too, compared to his dad, 6'3", 200. It's kind of exciting. I love some family ties, man. I loved Craig Counsell when he was here too. But we already gave you guys the preview of the first year, so it'll extend on. Like I said, once I get off here, I'll probably finish up. A majority of this list. Like I said, the first initial release will probably be 60 deep. Then, in August, I'm able to see the Bridge League. Hopefully, I'll add some more names. Will probably be 80 or so, and that accounts to, what is that? Roughly the 6th round of a 15 team when we get into the 80s and 90s. And I'll end up shooting for 7 to 8 rounds worth. So anywhere from 80 to 100 plus. And I think there's a lot of like just later values that are out there for the first year player. So on Patreon in the next 24 hours, that'll be the big update with some dynasty updates, the big side of the prospect updates outside of a few graduations, because we will have, I believe, does Roman Anthony come off? Let me look at this. No, it's got to be Cags then. I swear to God, one of these top two guys come off the list. Hello, Bueller? Clicking on here. Oh, Cags is one at bat away from graduation, and then they don't play till Thursday. So do I take him off the list? I might take him off the list, to be honest with you, just because of the update side of it. But that would be a special circumstance. But like Connor Griffin's going to move up. But the majority of the big updates are going to come from the first year players being added and where they are in the list. I also have a special designation for them on the prospect list that shows that they're first year players. So as you're scrolling through, you can literally see if a guy is a first year player. So inthisleague.com, sign up if you guys want to make sure that you have access to that. I'm excited about releasing that bad boy. I will be on Eric Cross, his show today. I don't know if it's a live stream or not, so I'm assuming it would, let's just say it would air tomorrow. I will be on CBS Sports HQ tonight at either 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern for a draft recap, if anybody wants to watch. CBS Sports HQ on the TV. Tomorrow, I should have a Prospect One out. I will be on with Frank Stanfill, it looks like, at some point on CBS on Fantasy Baseball Today. We kind of have like a time range, but not confirmed. And then Bogman and I may be live streaming here for the All-Star game and doing kind of like a fun hangout episode. So make sure you have that locked in. And then on Wednesday, for sure, I will be on RotoWire with James, Clegg, and Cross. We're going to do a first-year player draft. So that is all the stuff over the net. And that also include Fantasy Pros tomorrow, where we're doing draft recap stuff. So make sure you're just following all of it if you can't get enough like I can. And by the way, I was going to go out to Complex tonight to potentially go see Bazana, if he's still here, playing against Padres, but I don't know if I'll get to do that now because of CVS. But there's also the last week and a half of Complex Ball is going on. So there's tons and tons of fun and crazy stuff. So follow me on Twitter, Is It The Welsh? Thank you to Barrow for interacting and pushing and helping on the Twitch. You guys want more of that? Please do the same. Follow on the YouTube. So follow both of these. Follow twitch.tv/inthisleague and youtube.com/inthisleague. Follow those bad boys. Check out the podcast and follow me on Twitter, Is It The Welsh? Thank you guys for hanging out. A little bit of draft talk. Hope you guys all have a great one. Everyone that hung out from Yard, PJ, Vinny, Barrow, everybody in here. Thank you guys. And we will talk to you next time. Peace out, friends.